Welcome to English Podcast Table, your go-to space for learning, growing, and connecting through the power of English conversations. If you find this podcast helpful, don't forget to like, share, and comment. Your support means a lot and helps us reach more learners like you. Pull up a chair, and let's dive in.
Okay, let's talk about something I think a lot of you listening have probably felt.
Yeah.
You're in a conversation, right, in English. And the words are almost there, but your brain is busy translating, like in the background.
That mental lag, yeah. It's that awkward pause while you're searching.
Exactly. It really feels like you're trying to run with weights on, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It slows you down. And honestly, it can really knock your confidence.
Oh, absolutely.
Hey.
It's such a common thing, so if that's you, you're definitely not alone. That whole translation process, it's more than just, inconvenient. It can feel like a real wall-blocking fluent communication.
And that's precisely what we're diving into today. How do you train your brain to actually think in English, to skip that whole translation step altogether? Think of this as your guide to not just understanding how language learning works, but actually becoming a more confident, more natural English speaker.
Yeah, our goal here is really to unpack why this shift is so important, why moving from translating to thinking directly matters so much.
And we'll look at the common mistakes, too. The things that kind of hold people back without them maybe realizing it.
Right. And then the practical stuff. Actionable steps, daily exercises you can actually start using, like today. It really can be a game changer for fluency and just feeling comfortable using English.
Okay, so let's get into the why first. Why is thinking directly in English such a big deal? I mean, can't we just translate? Especially at the beginning.
Well, the fascinating thing is the sheer amount of work you're making your brain do when you translate constantly.
Okay.
Imagine your brain like a computer, right? Every time you form a thought in your native language, then convert it.
Yeah.
It's not just one extra step. It's like running two completely different programs at the same time.
Okay. Like two operating systems.
Exactly. There's this switching cost.
Yeah.
Your brain is loading one language, unloading it, loading the other. It slows everything down. And it takes up mental energy you could be using for, understanding better or expressing yourself more clearly.
That computer analogy really hits home. So it's not just about speed, the delay is real, but you're saying it affects the quality too, what comes out.
Precisely. That's the second big problem. Languages just don't map one-to-one. Think about saying, I am cold. In some languages, the structure is more like, I have cold.
Right.
If you translate that directly, you say, I have cold in English, and it just sounds wrong, unnatural.
Yeah, definitely stands out.
It's a clear example of how translating leads to awkward phrasing, maybe grammar mistakes, and just lacks that natural flow. Your English kind of always sounds a bit translated.
Okay, so this is where it gets exciting then. What happens when someone does make that shift? What are the actual benefits of thinking directly in English? What's the payoff?
Oh, the payoff is huge, really. Looking at the big picture, first, your confidence just skyrockets. That internal battle, the self-consciousness, it starts to fade because you're not constantly trying to translate. Your responses become quicker, more natural.
And listening improves too.
Massively. Your brain isn't scrambling to translate what's coming in. It's just processing English directly. Sounds, meanings. It frees up so much mental space to actually understand and, engage.
Okay. And the sources mentioned something I found really interesting. Pronunciation gets better. How does that work? That seems less obvious.
Yeah, it's a great point. Why does pronunciation improve? Basically, your brain starts to hear English sounds internally, the way native speakers do.
Okay.
You stop filtering English sounds through your native language's sound system, its phonetics, the specific way your first language makes sound.
Right, the muscle memory.
Exactly. You decouple from that.
Yeah.
Your brain starts preparing your mouth, your vocal cords, for English sounds specifically, rather than trying to force sounds from your native language into English shapes.
Right.
You're retraining your ear, essentially.
Wow. Okay, so it's retraining your auditory processing for English. That makes sense. More authentic rhythm and intonation follow naturally.
Precise.
So if it's so beneficial, why isn't this automatic? What are the common traps or maybe invisible barriers that stop learners making this jump?
Well, probably the biggest one, and the most obvious perhaps, is just relying too much on translation.
The crutch.
Yeah. If you always default to translating first, your brain simply never gets the practice it needs to build those direct English pathways. It's like always using GPS instead of learning the route yourself. You become dependent.
That makes sense. And I know this one trips people up. Grammar perfectionism.
Oh, definitely.
That need to get every single rule right in your head before you speak. Native speakers don't do that.
Not at all. We make mistakes, we correct ourselves, we speak imperfectly all the time. Trying to be perfect just adds delay, anxiety, and often means you end up saying nothing at all. It's like analysis paralysis.
Yeah. And tied to that is the fear of mistakes, right?
Absolutely. People get so worried about sounding wrong or, foolish that they just clam up, or they self-correct internally so much that the thought never gets out.
Which obviously stops any progress.
Yeah.
It makes English feel like this high-stakes test instead of just communication.
Exactly. And the last big one we see a lot is simply a lack of real immersion.
Right. Just classroom time isn't enough.
No. An hour or two a week, or just passively watching movies without engaging, it's not sufficient for your brain to truly adapt. It needs consistent exposure in different situations. It needs to sort of live in English a bit, not just visit.
Okay, so we've got the why and the what not to do. Let's get to the empowering part. How can you actually train your brain to think in English? The sources laid out 6 pretty practical steps.
Yeah, 6 things you can really start doing right away.
Step 1 sounds almost too simple, but it's powerful. Just name things around you in English. Like right now, look around wherever you are. Silently or even out loud, just say the English words.
Yeah.
Desk, chair, laptop, water bottle, tree, cloud.
It builds that direct link, doesn't it? Object straight to English word. No middleman.
Exactly. Bypassing the native language, you're forging direct connections.
Okay, step 2 builds on that. Talk to yourself in English.
This might feel weird at first.
It can. Like you're narrating your own life in a different language. But it's so effective. Describe what you're doing, seeing, planning. Out loud or just in your head.
Like, okay, I'm making coffee now, need to get the milk. Oh, it looks like rain today.
Exactly that. It makes English part of your immediate reality. You start narrating your world in English.
Step 3 feels crucial for breaking that translation habit.
Yeah.
Use an English-to-English dictionary.
Yes, this is a big one. Instead of looking up an English word and getting the translation in your native language, look it up in English.
So you read the definition, synonyms, example sentences, all in English.
Right. It forces your brain to stay within the English context. You're building the meaning inside the language itself, not constantly jumping back and forth.
Okay. Step 4 is about simplicity.
Yeah.
Right. Don't try to be Shakespeare immediately.
Definitely not. Start small. Think in simple sentences. I need to eat. I feel tired. This music is nice.
It avoids getting tangled in complex grammar.
Exactly. It gets your brain used to just forming thoughts directly in English, even basic ones. Build that foundation first.
Step 5 goes a bit deeper, more internal. Cultivate an inner English voice.
This is where it really becomes a tool for your own thinking. Start planning your day, asking yourself questions, just letting your thoughts flow, but in English.
Okay, what's next on the list? Did I lock the door? Wonder what's for dinner.
Precisely. That internal chatter shifts into English. It stops being a foreign subject and starts becoming a language you actually think in.
And the final step, step 6, is about soaking it in. Surround yourself with English.
Yeah, immersion. Go beyond the textbook. Watch movies, listen to podcasts, read articles, books, even just social media.
Let it be the background noise sometimes.
Yes, both active and passive exposure helps. The more English is just around, the more your brain naturally adapts to processing it and eventually thinking in it. It becomes the environment.
That's a really solid set of steps, a clear path. But, knowing is one thing, doing is another. How do we make these things stick? What about daily habits?
Good point. Building the habit is key. Number 1, bookend your day.
Meaning?
Start your day and end your day with English thoughts. When you wake up, plan your morning in English. Before sleep, review your day in English. What happened? How did you feel?
Okay, so you frame your whole day in English.
Exactly. Primes the brain. Number 2, try a no translation rule.
Ooh, a challenge.
Yeah, just for a set time each day. Maybe start with 15 minutes, then 30. Consciously stop yourself from translating. If you slip, just gently redirect back to English. It's active retraining.
Okay. Number 3 involves actually speaking.
Yes, talk to yourself out loud in English for a few minutes daily.
Even if it feels a bit strange.
Especially if it feels strange at first. It gets your mouth moving, forces you to form the words, lets you hear yourself. It really reinforces those pathways. You're making the internal external.
Got it. Number 4, weave English into mundane tasks.
Right. Cooking, walking, waiting in line. Let your thoughts be in English. Simple observations. The water is boiling. That dog is running fast. I need to remember to call Sarah.
making it the default background thought process.
That's the idea. Make it ordinary.
Huh.
And number 5, keep a simple English journal.
Stress-free writing.
Totally stress-free. Don't worry about perfect grammar or fancy words. Just write about your day, your feelings, your plans. It's a low-pressure way to practice expressing complete thoughts directly in English.
Okay, these are great practical habits. But let's be real, it's not always smooth sailing, right? People will slip back into their native language.
Oh, absolutely. That's completely normal. The sources emphasize that. Reverting is part of learning a new habit.
So what's the advice there? Just patience.
Patience and persistence are key. Remember, you're rewiring your brain, basically. It takes time. Start small, like we said, simple words, simple phrases.
And keep using that English to English dictionary.
Definitely. That's your best friend in breaking the translation habit. Really commit to using it consistently.
And I love this tip for when you get stuck on a word. Instead of giving up or translating.
Describe it. Yes. If you forget refrigerator, don't panic. Think. The cold box, where I keep the milk and vegetables.
Right. It forces you to think around the gap in English, using the English you do know. That's a fantastic skill.
It is. It builds fluency and resourcefulness. And related to that, don't forget to notice your progress.
How can you do that effectively?
Well, you could record yourself speaking now, then again in a few weeks or months. Listen back. Review your journal entries. Even just talking to yourself in the mirror, you might start to notice you're hesitating less, sounding more natural.
Acknowledging the small wins.
Exactly. It helps keep you motivated when you see how far you've come.
Okay, wow. We have covered a lot of ground here. We started with that core problem, didn't we? The mental drain of translating all the time.
Yeah, and why thinking directly in English is such a game changer for confidence, for natural communication.
Then we looked at those common mistakes relying too much on translation, aiming for impossible grammar perfection.
The fear of making mistakes, not getting enough real immersion, all things that hold people back.
But then we got into the actionable stuff, those 6 steps.
Naming things, talking to yourself, using the right dictionary, simple sentences, the inner voice, surrounding yourself with English.
Yeah, and those daily habits to really lock it in. Bookending the day, the no translation challenge, talking aloud, journaling.
All designed to get your brain comfortable, really living in English.
And the big takeaway seems to be consistency over perfection.
Absolutely. It's not about never making a mistake. It's about showing up, trying, engaging, starting small, and not letting the fear stop you. Mistakes are just part of the journey.
So for everyone listening, here's something to think about. What's one specific tip, just one thing from everything we discussed today that you will actually try this week?
And maybe consider how that small shift, that one commitment, might do more than just improve your English. How could it genuinely change how you connect with the world and express yourself within it?